part and learning how to ask the right questions. What do you have to add to that?
Well, I think if there were there really rules, Toddy, for conversation, and that is to be curious and candid. Our attention, human beings' attention, is ego-driven. It is self-centered. And that's a great key to keep in mind in conversation. When you speak to another person, focus your attention on them. Be curious about her or about him. And what I've learned is I don't, once I start a conversation, I need have nothing else in mind other than listening, and my questions all come out of listening. Now, it's also, and the candid part is just to be rigorously honest, to be absolutely authentic, let the chips fall, tell your truth, and let it be. And human beings always have an agenda. We are agenda-driven creatures. And so what I've learned over the years is that the single most successful agenda in any conversation is, how can I help you? So when I approach a conversation where my commitment is to be curious and candid, and my agenda is, how can I help you? That's how I have great conversations.
Okay, interesting. What are you hoping to get out of the person that you're having the conversation with?
How can I help you?
You feel in every case, every conversation, there's a need for help?
You know, for years, Toddy, I signed all my letters and emails and posts with, I appreciate you. And I became known for it. And I just recently, with the COVID-19 crisis, and now with what's going on with the protests and Black Lives Matter, I've changed my SIG line, it's called, to let's take care of each other.
Yeah.
And I can't think of anything more important today in relationships and friendships and partnerships and leadership than coming from the perspective of let's take care of each other. And my shortcut to that is, how can I help you?
Okay. The COVID-19, the quarantine, all the whole situation that is going on this year has really changed everything for everybody. In fact, they're saying that there's no norm that we could return to, or normal that we could return to. There's definitely going to be changes. Now, my audience is, and my podcast is designed for business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. What can you say to them to help them deal with what's going on now with respect to their business?
Well, what you and I focus on becomes the center of our life. And right now, if what we're focused on is a new normal, okay, you can do that. I highly recommend that you forget focusing on a new normal and you focus on a new remarkable. I'm a recovering alcoholic. And one of the very first things I learned in 12-step recovery was a phrase they have called the gift of desperation. The men and women in the rooms of AA, which is the recovery model, the 12-step recovery model I got involved with over 8 years ago, they had a real understanding that they were in the rooms because they were desperate. And sobriety came as a result of the gift of desperation. Well, when I look around the world today, the gift of desperation is everywhere. I mean, these are desperate times. And my sense, and if I'm getting spiritual for your audience, I have no apology for that. I think desperation motivates people to seek for unusual and remarkable and extraordinary measures in order to create the transformation that it is so obvious right now the world is demanding of each other, all of us. Now, we can ignore that. We can, from our false self, ego, take a stand for what used to be and not budge and be closed. I beg your pardon. Or we can commit to being wide open and find a better way. That's the deal. That's what's on the table right now for every one of us as individuals. And if you're a business or you're a parent or you're just a person, that's on the table for you. It's a choice. And I think my job, and I recommend everyone to give a thought to, is this your job? Is how can you help people? How can you bring about the changes that are screaming to be made today?
Okay, we only have a couple more minutes. So what I'd like you to do, if you wouldn't mind giving my audience a way to contact you, any way that you feel is the easiest way for them to contact you.
Best place at the moment, and it's an evolution, so it's not a done deal, all wrapped up pretty like a Christmas present. I'm working on this new project called Metanoics, METANOICS. And the best place to find me is on Facebook. My personal page is facebook.com/John Milton, MILTON, Fogg, FOGG. And the Metanoics group is facebook.com/groups/metanoics, METANOICS.
All right, thank you for that. We have to wrap up, but we are going to have you back on our next episode. So fans and friends, I want to invite you to come back in, listen to us, listen to John. He's going to be on our next episode. He's graciously agreed to be on our next episode. So please join us for his second episode with us, because what he is teaching us, we definitely need to know as business owners. So once again, I want to thank you for joining us on Jadoo Lifestyle, where you can have a life and live it too. And if you want to get in contact with us, you can at societybitesradio.com. And if you want to get in contact with me personally, it's Toddy, Toddy, Jadoo, Jadoo at gmail.com. So thank you for listening today, and come back to hear us again on our next episode, where we will have part two of John Fogg.